What is up, and I welcome each and every one of you back to a brand new video. I hope you're all having fantastic days. Before I get started, as always, if you enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Did I tell you guys to subscribe? Because that is something you should definitely be doing. We are back at it again, looking at the top 5 units in Civilization 6, the top 5 units in Civ 6. Which units should you be building, whether it's on the defensive or on the offensive, whether you want to defend against an early rush, or early rush your opponent before they get walls, or even after they get walls. We are looking at 5 units, my top 5 units in general, and then we're going to look at 2 honorable mentions who might not fit the category of good units per se, but they are essentially, if you want to win on Deity, domination, or whether you want to defend or anything. Civ 6 is obviously more of a unit focused game, especially in the higher difficulties. You're not going to be able to sim city as much as you would in the lower difficulties. So using this list, using these units, if you just beeline these units every game, you should have a massive leg up on your opponent when it comes to either defense or going for an early rush. Real quick disclaimer that's going to take like 5 or 10 seconds. I have not added naval units in this game because naval units are in general all trash, because on an archipelago map or even a continents map in general, you're not going to have more than 2 or 3 spaces in which you can attack the city. You don't have any siege naval units, so you can't attack cities with walls, especially early game, and you can't surround the city. At the very least, with melee units, you can move a guy into like the water or something, and you can destroy the city that way, surround it. And if you have catapults, you can use that as a siege unit, or even battering rams for that point. Naval units really are unviable in this game, even on an archipelago map. But yeah, let's get right into the video. Don't forget to tune into my new Norway series coming out at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. We absolutely obliterated the AI, destroyed it. We literally pillaged everything. We have so many yields from it. We committed war atrocities, okay? Not crimes, atrocities. But yeah, that series coming out at 2 o'clock for anyone who wants it. And without further ado, let's get to the video. Let's get started with number 5. We have a double whammy. We got bombards and artillery. Now, why are bombards and artillery this high up? And why is catapults not this high up along with them? Well, it's simple. There is another siege unit, not really a siege unit, but a support unit, the battering ram and the siege tower. Now, battering ram works on ancient era walls. Siege tower works on medieval walls, but there is nothing that can help you with Renaissance walls unless it is bombards or artillery. And knowing that the AI is absolutely going to spam the absolute crap, it is just going to be an assembly line. It is just going to be exactly like a damn sweatshop when it comes to them building walls. You are going to want to have something to help against walls. Yeah, pretty much just getting bombard and artillery is your only option. You could have like 100 unique Linero units from Gran Colombia, and you will not take out the walls, especially if there is a unit stationed inside and it is a modern unit. So you do need some bombards and you do need some artillery. That's why I have them at number 5 pretty much. Number 4 now, we are looking at the bomber. Yes, when it comes to pound for pound, military strength, just absolute raw firepower, nothing beats the bombard. Not even giant death robots. I said it. Why? Because you can continuously attack enemy cities and enemy units without getting smacked if they don't have anti-air or any sort of air defense like a fighter, which the AI usually doesn't build until much, much later. If you beeline the bomber and the jet bomber for that matter, you will be able to get not only control of the skies, but you will be able to absolutely destroy, devastate, war crime, exterminate anybody you please. Just go ahead, attack the walls. If they don't have anti-air, which they usually don't, they're not going to do anything to you. The reason it is number 4, even though in my opinion it is a better unit than the giant death robot, is because number 1, it comes so late into the game that at that point, if you haven't won already, you are on pace to winning, right? If you're going for a domination victory and you beeline the jet bomber and the bombers, pretty much you're going to have like at least 3 other capitals under your wing, and you're going to be making like 3 times as much science and culture as the enemy, and you've pretty much won the game already. And the other thing is, if they have anti-air or fighters, even one, or even like a giant death robot with a good upgrade, it is going to decimate you. That's also why I have bombers here and not jet bombers, because at the time of jet bombers, the AI is going to have giant death robots with anti-air defense, and they absolutely exterminate your bombers. So anti-air, despite how scarce it is, if they do get some sort of anti-air, your bombers are absolutely obsolete. But if you don't, and if you get them early enough, they are some of the best units in the game. The reason I don't have giant death robots on this list is because at that point, why not go for a science victory? If you're going giant death robot, you're going to either do it for fun like I did in my Rome series, or you're going to do that as sort of like a late game push if you're sort of struggling with the difficulty or new-ish to the game. But all in all, giant death robots come too late, really, and the upgrades they get are, again, if you're going to go for the upgrades on giant death robots in a competitive setting, you might as well just go ahead and finish off a space race victory. But yeah, let's get to the third best unit. We have the Knight. Now, the Knight used to be number one when you could use siege towers with cavalry units, but now it is not. The Knight is still really good because the fact that you can beeline it, and it comes so soon, and it is a cavalry unit, and again, if you have some trebuchets, I just realized now that I didn't put trebuchets in at number 5. They would be an honorable... We'll get into that later, but some trebuchets and a Knight, you can absolutely blitz the enemy, especially if you beeline the Knights. The enemy will still probably have ancient arrow walls, and even ancient arrow walls, the Knights can actually deal with ancient arrow walls without any siege equipment fairly easily. The thing is, they come so early, and it is so easy to boost them, and you can upgrade them from war chariots so easily. You get 48 combat strength Knights before the enemy has anything to deal with them, and even if they do have crossbowmen, they're not going to be able to do too much to you. The reason they take this spot instead of the man-at-arms is because, again, unless you're playing Gaul, the man-at-arms is coming around the same time as the Knight, maybe a little bit earlier, but the Knight has more movement speed and it is much easier to boost it. That's why I have the Knight at number 3. Make sure you do bring in trebuchets as well, and they also are really good at pillaging and stealing enemy workers and settlers. Number 2 now, we have the Swordsman. Now, the Swordsman is so good because it is the best, in my opinion, classical era units because it can use the battering ram. If you go for a horseman rush on the higher difficulties, you are looking at some sort of like, if the enemy gets walls, your horseman rush is obsolete. Horsemen aren't taking out walls. And going for catapults is so bad early on, in my opinion, unless you're the Ottomans. Even as the Ottomans, you're only really getting catapults so you can use your abilities and promote them to bombards later on. But the fact that if you want to go horsemen into catapults, it's gonna like have you go like across the tech tree, and by that time, like, they can literally have crossbowmen. Hey guys, real quick before we get right back into the video, the goal is to be bigger than PewDiePie by the end of about, next week, I would say. That's a fairly attainable goal due to my assertions. But yeah, if you enjoy my content and want to help me out, subscribe, and let's get right back into the video. And one-shot your catapults. If you go for swordsman, I guess you could go for catapults, but it is much better to go for the battering ram, because it does serve the same purpose, and the swordsman actually does more damage to ancient arrow walls with the battering ram than the catapult does to ancient arrow walls, pound for pound, I guess, because the catapult is going to come out later. So the swordsmen are up here because of the battering ram. They're just like the horsemen. The horsemen, like, on an individual basis, are a little bit better because they have more movement speed, but the fact that they can't use battering rams anymore means that the swordsmen are your premier early rush units, not to mention that they do have encampments on their tech path, so you can build an encampment, get a great general, and get even more beefy swordsmen. Before we get to the number 1 slot, I do want to talk about 2 honorable mentions and 2 units that used to be good, but are now have fallen off because of, well, the New Frontier Passes April update. The first unit is the crossbowmen. Why the crossbowmen? Because the man-at-arms, the trebuchet, have come in and made the crossbowmen not obsolete, but a lot weaker. Why? Because before, if you got a crossbowman, you'd be able to 2-shot swordsmen and 1-shot catapults with a 1 promotion crossbowman. Now you're not going to be able to do that because the man-at-arms with the tortoise promotion is resistant to crossbowman fire. It is absolutely destructive, and you're doing a lot less damage to trebuchets as well. So because of those changes due to the New Frontier Pass, making medieval era units much more prevalent, the crossbowman has lost a little bit of the strength. It's funny though, because now you do have to get crossbowmen more than you did previously for defense and offense, because you do need them if you want to defend against man-at-arms and trebuchets, but they do less to trebuchets and man-at-arms than they did to swordsmen and catapults, so they're at the same time weaker, but more needed, if that makes any sense. That's one. The other one is going to be the... excuse me. The other one is going to be... what was the other one again? I don't know. I think there was only one that was kind of... missed out on, like one that used to be good but now is not as good anymore. That was the crossbowman. Now we're going to get to the 2 honorable mentions, the battering ram and the balloon slash the drone. Now, they're not really units, they are support units, but the reason I have them here as honorable mentions is because the fact that they can go and destroy walls and keep your siege units out of attack range of the enemy cities and its garrison unit makes them so good. I mean, my god. There isn't really much to say. They completely obsolete walls, any sort of walls really, because now your siege units can attack from one tile back, and the battering ram makes walls obsolete if you have swordsmen and even potentially warriors and man-at-arms. But that's what I have for the honorable mentions. Now we have number 1, we have the Archer. The best, most well-rounded unit in the entire game is the Archer. You want to go for defense, 1 or 2 Archers is enough to stop any early rush on Deity. You want to go for offense, 4 or 5 Archers can take out a city without walls and even do some damage to city with walls in support of a battering ram, and they absolutely decimate units. 3 Archer shots is enough to take out most ancient era units. 4 to 5 is enough to take out a swordsman, which is really expensive, and they are so cheap that you can spam build them. Heck, you can even build 3 to 4 slingers early on and upgrade them into archers for cheap. The archers are the best unit because they are so versatile in both offense and defense. Swordsman really struggles on defense because the enemy AI could just like swarm the warrior, number 1. They can attack it with ranged units. They can avoid the warrior in general, or if you attack with the warrior, you're sort of leaving yourself open to an enemy retaliation. But the archers can just stay in the city, stay in the hill, stay in defensive positions, and just knock off any units, whether it be offense or defense, or heck, even neutral Jin, I guess, from Avatar or something. But yeah, that's going to be it. Let me know what you guys like, right? Let me know what you guys think are the best units. I'm obviously not God or the Messiah, nor do I claim to be, so I'm not sort of the all-encompassing ability on Civ 6. I'm not the Civ 6 gods. So let me know down below, what's your favorite unit? What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? And what is your favorite unit, right? Not best unit. What unit do you like playing despite the fact that it isn't that good? It could be a unique unit even. Me, obviously, unique unit is the Hetairo and the Hippispus and the Immortal especially. But when it comes to non-unique units, I love going for damn horseman rushes early on. If you get them early enough, you can absolutely decimate enemies before they get walls up. But that is my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed and want more. And I am coming out with a Norway pillaging series later on today. It is going to be absolutely insane. Just finished recording that. And my God, I am afraid that the FBI is going to come to my house because we have committed some war atrocities. Not war crimes, atrocities. So definitely stay tuned for that, coming out at 2 p.m. And I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.